Quone?
30, 31, 30.
Quone? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm afraid I'm going to have to challenge that.
No, you don't have to challenge that. That's a word. That's a definite word.
I am challenging.
Quone. To quone something.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to challenge that. Dictionary. Like a patient gets.
In the immediate aftermath of 9/11, we did some things that were wrong. We did a whole lot of things that were right.
We've taken control of the oil in the Middle East, the oil that we're talking about.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create.
We choose truth over facts.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. The foothills of the Himalayas.
Television is what people are saying.
We are fighting Satan himself.
Journalists, ask them the question! Ask them! Ask them! Ask them!
Agreed that everybody once stay inside they should. Anyway, my time's up. America's dead.
It is indeed.
America is dead as fuck. And so is Canada. So is Europe.
So is most of the Western world.
Pretty much all the Western world.
Welcome everyone back to another edition.
Another rousing edition of politically
homeless.
Polygraph harmless. Welcome to Polygraph Harmless, everybody.
And host here, Greg, Big Mad Crab, as well as Brad, Snow Himbo.
I'm host Nimbo. Hello.
We're coming in on a historic day today.
I hope you guys are all libbed up. I hope you guys are libbed the fuck up right now. It is a shit lib holiday today. Rob Reiner has been coming for 24 hours straight. He's just been... There's nothing left in Rob Reiner's house but just old Santa cum. It's just covered. The walls are covered in Santa cum. The ceiling's covered in Santa cum. There's Santa cum all over the place. His neighbors called the cops twice because Santa cum came down their chimney. Anyway.
It's Kofifi Day. Kofifi Day.
Yeah, happy Kofifi Day, everybody.
Happy Kofifi Day. Let's see how we got reactions to the news here. CNN, as everyone's favorite network, they're reading it live like it's a fucking new year. This
is the shit lib New Year, dude. People are like,
you have to see the shit that people are consuming. This is crazy shit.
Bro, I guarantee you liberals are still at brunch. They're still at brunch right now. They haven't left. They will keep brunching until the new year, I'm pretty sure.
Verdicts. Okay. Count 1 is guilty. That is a felony charge. Count 1, falsifying business records. Count 2, also guilty. Falsifying business records in the first degree. Count 3, guilty. Falsifying business records in the first degree. Count 4, guilty. That's another felony charge. Falsifying business records in the first degree. Count 5, guilty. That's another falsifying business record in the first degree felony charge. So that is 5 felony charges that Donald Trump has been found guilty by this New York jury. We still have 29 other felony counts to go, but that is 5 guilty verdicts by this jury when it comes to felony charges of falsifying business records in the first degree in service of another crime, and that crime would be covering up the Stormy Daniels hush money payment. Count 6, guilty. So that is 6 charges. Count 7, guilty. That is another charge. Count 8, guilty. That is yet another charge. 8 out of 8, he has been found guilty. Count 9, guilty. So that is 9 out of 9. Count 10, guilty. Another felony charge, falsifying business records in the first degree.
This dude is edging every liberal in America right now. He's edging them.
Falsifying business records.
He's edging them so hard.
Count 12, guilty.
Oh my God.
Another felony charge, falsifying business records in the first degree. Count 13, guilty. Another felony charge of falsifying business records in the first degree. Count 14, guilty. Count 15.
So they just keep going until they hit
all 34 counts of falsifying business records. Count 34. Guilty. Donald Trump found guilty on all 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. All 34 are felonies. Donald Trump has now been convicted of 34 different felony crimes by a jury of his peers in Manhattan.
So obviously this is historical precedence because we don't have a president in history that was convicted of a felony. Although we should be arresting all of them.
They should all go to fucking jail. In fact, if it were up to me, they'd get the wall. But that's a different discussion. In In a video game. Okay, thank you, feds. I'm saying in a video game. I'm not saying an actual wall. Just in a video game. But yeah, they should all go to jail. But of course, we need to send them to jail for this and not the way. You know what's the funniest thing about this whole like Trump trial shit? They wouldn't dare send him to jail for all the other like fucking atrocious shit, the war crimes. Like they're not going to send him to jail for all the war crimes because that would set a precedent that they have to send all of these pieces of shit to jail. Because Donald Trump did way worse than this shit. He did way worse. Oh my God, it's not even close.
Remember the assassination of Soleimani?
Yep.
Straight up war crime.
Absolutely 100% a fucking war crime. Right there. But of course...
There was never a trial for this. No one was tried. But it's about it's about paying off a porn star.
Yeah, that's what they can get him on. Because here's the thing. With members of the ruling class, you guys need to understand something. They don't get charged for actually doing a crime because the billionaire class is a higher... You guys need to understand this. We are second-class citizens for real. Okay? We do not operate on the same level as the billionaire class. And if you want to ever test this, ask yourself why you have to pay the same fine for breaking the law as someone who can easily pay that off without it even slightly inconveniencing them. The answer is because laws are only for poor people. If you're rich, laws don't matter because you can just wipe your ass. $500 fine? I wiped my ass with that this morning. There's a reason why
the bail system exists.
Yeah, exactly. The bail system's a perfect example. Okay? Yeah. My point is, in the billionaire class, you don't go to jail except for
he's not
two.
Going to jail. He's
except
not
for
going
two.
To jail.
No, he's not going to jail. They're gonna sentence him to like
even if he does.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, we sentence you to 4 years as president. Hey, like that's how much of a clown show this is. But like, you only go to jail under two circumstances if you're in the billionaire class. One, you betrayed your class. You are a class traitor. You fucked over your fellow bourgeoisie. That is the highest cardinal sin. You're going to jail. Perfect example, Bernie Madoff. Perfect other example, your mom. Anyway, second, you got caught. That's what he's really getting charged with here. They don't give a fuck that he did this shit. They give a fuck that he got caught. He didn't hide his tracks well enough. He didn't produce.
You, there is much, much worse blackmail on Trump than there is about whatever this is. Stormy Daniels. I guarantee you, like, I would not be like if you showed me, like if they had blackmail on Trump of like him with like kids or something, he was pounding around with Epstein a little bit. I wouldn't doubt that. I think like every single one, you could see like the guilt on like their faces when they talk in front of a crowd. Like all these soulless politicians, it feels like you can see the soul in them kind of like cringing at the fact that like, they're one, gunshot in the head away from, spilling all the beans.
Make no mistake, Donnie Boy has been to Bohemian Grove. He probably paid for the owl statue, for fuck's sake.
He probably financed the whole thing.
Probably did. Trump Occult Inc.
Trump Occult Inc.
34 felony charges for former President Donald J. Trump, convicted of 34 felony charges having to do with falsifying business records to cover up hush money payments to Stormy Daniels.
Oh my God! I am
unbelievable moment in American history. The jurors are now being asked about their agreement with these charges, and they are responding yes. Trump has a frowned expression on his face as the verdict reading is completed. He is not moving. The former president of the United States, now a convicted felon, having been found guilty of 34 felony charges by a jury of his peers in Manhattan, New York. The court officer is asked if either party wants the jury polled. Trump attorney Todd Blanche says yes. This is when they go around and ask each juror if they agree with what has just been read by the foreperson. The jurors all have straight faces. They are now being polled. Karen, when they do this, do they ask each juror for each charge, for each count, or would they simplify it and say to each of the 12 jurors, do you agree you convict him on all 34 charges?
In this particular instance, because it was a clean sweep of all 34, what the judge would do is he would say, juror number 1, you just heard that there was just a 34 count, all guilty. Is that your verdict? And they would say, yes, sir.
So the
juror number 2.
The jurors being polled right now, they all said yes or yes it is, and they are each going, as you just said, Karen, juror number 1, is this your conclusion? Yes, it is. Juror number 2, is this your conclusion? Yes, it is. And the alternate jurors, Judge Merchan said we couldn't have done this without you. He thanks all of the jurors very much for their service in this case. Trump is turning to look over the jurors as they're being polled. The former president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee, a convicted felon, 34 times over, found guilty of falsifying business records in the first degree by a jury of his peers in Manhattan minutes ago.
By a jury of his peers. So what? What are his peers? Did they have like a bunch of different billionaires there, or do they consider his peers like a bunch of normal working class people? Because those ain't his peers, okay? You got to get a bunch of fucking demons out there who've exploited countless people through capitalist slavery.
You're talking about the man, the guy who hired Nikki Haley, John Bolton, all these fucking swamp clowns.
The guy who promised to be the guy who promised to be even shittier on Israel than Biden is. Let that sink in. Shittier than that. It's a campaign like fucking point he's running on.
And he's winning. That's how you know how bad it is.
Yeah, he's winning because all these idiots magically forgot 9/11 exists, and they magically forgot the Iraq War existed, and they're falling for the exact same propaganda because they feel like they have to like stick steadfast. Ooh, that's another point for later. They feel like they have to stick steadfast to their team and play their stupid team sports, which is why they can never like figure out like a consistent stance on like a foreign affair, for fuck's sake. Anyway, let's move on, or I'm gonna rant for 2 hours and everybody's gonna leave.
Yeah. I just wanted to show this. We're reaching different points. But it always comes full circle. This is how you know that liberals and Trumpers are actually very alike in many ways, and they support a lot.
Different. They're nothing different. Both sides of these people, they're just exploited working class people who expect to lead the working class by supporting the shitty party. They hope that one day.
Now Trump gets to run on his like I'm a victim card. Where like vote for me, I'm your victim. Now his donation pages are crashing.
Which is hilarious because like
it's backfire. They know this makes him win. Donald Trump is your next president. We already know that, but this just solidifies the deal. Trump is it's the Pied Piper strategy, I think.
Well, because like we predicted here at Politically Homeless First, they need this guy. They need this guy for what's coming up. They need this motherfucker. Because I guarantee you guys, this empire is not going to roll over and let the country that is objectively dominating them in every measurable metric win. They're not going to let that happen willingly. They're going to fight and thrash and scream. Because that's how an empire dies. An empire never dies quietly. never dies whimpering. It doesn't just go off into the woods and die like some kind of, I don't know, diseased gopher. Why did I say diseased gopher? God damn it, Snow. It never just goes quietly into the night. No, these things always end with the Empire clawing and screaming and kicking before it finally ceases to be. And that's the Western Empire, everybody. It's America and its client states. At this point, I pretty much consider Canada a client state of the U.S. because, well, gestures at the entire history of my shitty country. That's what's going to happen.
North America, yeah, you just all put it on the same thing. This only victimizes him, like makes him more of like a martyr, a hero. We can talk shit about Trump all day. There's a lot of things wrong with. I mean, at the end of the day, another billionaire capitalist. But to move on, we got this fresh off the press just Friday of last week. A deranged fringe movement. What is MAGACommunism, the online ideology platformed by Tucker Carlson? This is a huge list of characters here.
Now, I'm not going to lie. I did not expect a corporate press hit piece on Jackson Hinkle and infrared on my bingo card.
Yeah, that another 2024 bingo cards are just rot,
Two young men are promoting oh my god. Hold on, oh my god, they wrote like a Tolkien novel about these motherfuckers.
Why is this so? Two young men promoting a grab bag ideology, celebrating honor and condemning global elites. The last few years, self-styled political movements sound like a contradiction in terms of gained ground online. This has been around for months, like a year now, but like they just won't let it die. It won't.
No, it's the thing is, it's gaining. It's like, look at the numbers. Look at the numbers anywhere. This shit is gaining traction. I don't know how they're doing it, but it's like it's popping off. I mean, shit. Hinkle's like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, a lot of the synthetic left online, they have permanent Hinkle derangement syndrome. They've even like made up those like childish like high school names. They call them like Stinkle. You know how these like lived up fucking LARPers always have these like goofy little childish names for all their like people who don't like check off every mark on their fucking reactionary checklist. But yeah, like, holy fuck. It's as bad as Door at this point, I think. Like, Hinkle's right up there. Because remember the Rage Against the War Machine rally? After Ritter got off the menu, they all moved on to Hinkle. They're like, we can't share space with Hinkle. We'd rather get blown into oblivion because we're serious about being revolutionary.
Yeah, Cold did that. I remember that.
Fucking.
And that was all because of because I feel like he plays a specific role. It's supposed to be like a defaming kind of character. Like if you're able to like place very stupid prominent people at the forefront of whatever movement you have, then you can point the finger and be like, hey, this entire group of people, communists are dumbasses or tankies or whatever the fuck. I mean, I used to like Hinkle for a while, but
I don't. Here's the thing.
I'm pretty sure he's getting paid by like some other countries. I'm not sure, but
here's the thing. I don't like or dislike Hinkle. I acknowledge that
he's a year younger than me.
Yeah.
So both of these. I'm 28. These kids are younger than me.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't like or dislike Jackson Hinkle. He's a 24-year-old. Like, I'm sorry. I remember my takes at 24 years old too. He might end up being like one of the best allies we have. We don't fucking know. But at 24, I was a shit lib at 24. Crab. I was a shit lib. I voted for Trudeau, my dude. Okay? That's how down bad I was. I was like, that was back when I thought that's back when I thought the Holodomor was That's back when I believed Red Scare propaganda, okay? That's when I believed all the McCarthy. I'm like, no, Holodomor was so bad.
I wasn't a liberal until 2020.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, I can't.
In the whatever sense.
Yeah, and people need to understand, like, we're all kind of getting there at our own pace, but, like, for context, like, Haz used to be a Bernie bro. I know that for a fact. He mentioned it on one of his streams one time. So, I mean, yeah. Well, let's see. A belief in the power of Donald Trump's followers to wrest power.
I just don't think, like, I mean, I don't even feel super obligated to speak on, like, a lot of these topics. Imagine, like, being this young and then, like, having all this prominence that you're being, like, slammed in the mainstream media.
Don't worry about it, bro. Once you get to, like, around your mid to late 30s, you just know everything and you beat everyone and you're smarter.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm like, what is it? Like, I don't even understand if, like, I'm fully, like, I mean, it feels like I understand. I have my certain idea about things and how the world really works, but, like, I still learn things.
Well, here's the thing: your brain. Someone feel free to fact check me on this, but
20.
I heard
25 it fully develops. Yeah.
Yeah, your brain isn't fully developed until 25. So until 25, I'm gonna give Jackson a pass just because, like, I'm not gonna judge someone before the brain's fully developed because I was an idiot in my early 20s. And I'm not gonna lie, he does a lot of good coverage, and he speaks for a lot of the same things that I speak for. He's out there, carrying water for Palestine, getting shit on by like half his base for doing so. I can respect that. Yeah, this shit. We'll get into it, but I just don't get it. I've tried so hard to get it. I just don't get what they're doing. I'm sorry.
Hinkle and Al-Din have been ridiculed by critics. Is he Syrian? I forgot what he is. He's Lebanese, I think. Hinkle and Al-Din have been ridiculed as critics as pseudo-intellectual, cravenly opportunistic grifters who have carved out an intentionally provocative niche designed to siphon followers away from other highly online political communities.
I'm sorry, that's the most liberal fucking paragraph in the history of paragraphs.
I know, but like it kind of like, but like it don't you think it's worded like kind of well for like what it actually is? Like, I mean, it's scripted.
Totally
it's like,
could be that.
I
mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like
whenever you talk about like being against this, and we're gonna show more to make the case. You kind of get like bundled in with all these liberals who are saying stuff like this.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it could also just be like a sheepdog op, right? Because it's like, well, how do we get more people to like move towards the right? Well, why don't we get people who would identify as far left to come over to the right? Because the one thing I want to fucking ask all these people, because this is a defining moment. Who are you voting for? Who are these two people going to tell you to vote for when election season comes? Because if they're going... Because I will be honest, they both carry massive water for China. They're bigger China Sims than I am. And I'm a huge fucking... I'm unapologetically a China Sim. I think... Or maybe I just like...
There. I could see why people would be.
But like, if when election time comes, these guys are telling you to vote for Donnie, even though Donnie is very staunchly anti-Trump, and I know Haas defends China all day, my dude. He fiercely defends it. So at the end of the day, if these two guys are going to tell you to vote for Donnie in November, who's very staunchly anti-China, very staunchly anti-communist, then we'll know for sure what all of this movement was about. Right? I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm still.
It's not like the idea is like malicious in any way. I think the idea itself is like kind of, I think you could on its face on paper. I just think the messaging and the way it's being framed. Trump is far from any sort of figurehead to be leading this kind of movement.
I think it's a 24-year-old idea. Like, it's exactly
what it is.
I'll be honest. If I was 24 years old, I could have come up with this shit easily. I could have
come
up with something worse.
At 3 a.m. I could have wrote a Substack about why Trump is actually a communist.
Yeah.
And people would never take me seriously.
Yeah. But it's like...
Both
and
Haas and
like,
Hinkle say that the support... Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay. The support for Trump, not for admiration for the man, but out of the belief that his followers represent a most significant mobilization of the American working class in decades.
Hold up.
Here's
the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not sure if I disagree with that. I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure if I disagree with that. Because that is way less reactionary than anything we've seen out of not only liberals, but progressives, and even a lot of like online socialists. They want change more than the other side that is just comfy, and they just want more of the same. They want more of Obama. They want more of the continuation of Obama's shit. They're happy and comfy. They don't care, or they're too brainwashed to realize how fucking miserable they are. Either way, these are the people who are saying, like, yeah, we want to change. We want to, like, not take our country back, because I don't think there's anything. I mean, take your country back. You're going to have to give all your shit back to indigenous people and go back to Europe. Okay, thank you. But, like, they see the problems. They just don't understand that the person you're voting for is in bed with them and never going to do anything about those problems. Ever. I don't fucking care. He's never going to do anything about them.
Of course, they're trying to throw out the anti-trans smear.
Yeah, because
conservative in a way that appeals to the growing number of Gen Z males who believe feminism is harmful to men, and cast issues as transgender rights, the climate crisis, racial justice as neoliberal distractions.
I mean, I love this.
We need to protect our youth from trans terrorists and propagandists.
Did he really fucking say that? What?
This shit's he's a character. He's a fucking character, this man.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, like, even I've voiced my own grievances with, like, certain elements of, like, the elements of predatory capitalism within trans issues. Like the whole, like, I don't know, these weirdo leftists online who are, like, obsessed with, like, the putting the kids on drugs shit. I find that to be fucking weird, but really, like, why do you care? Why do you care? Why the fuck do you care? Okay? Is it good? Are you gonna die if you call someone, like, by the pronouns they want? No. Are you gonna die by just letting people live the way they want to live? No. Like, fuck. Just, like, stop with this. Go up for a bit. Go up for a sec, though. They're firmly embedded in a corner of social media that is the most vitriolic, terminally online troll culture.
Where do you see that?
Read Ross right above Hawes's head.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I think I feel like this guy just called all of us out. Like, what the fuck?
That's
like, we're all terminally online trolls. This is bullshit. I'm suing.
Polling has indicated that members of Gen Z, even Gen Z Republican voters, are open to more socialist ideas. In a video debunking MAGA communism last year,
Oh shit, my man Richard is about to lay the hammer down. It's over.
Marxist
It's over.
economist Richard Wolff noted that there's a precedent for national movements co-opting communists. Yeah, so we're going to play that. I think there's just a background on them now.
Oh my god, they wrote a novel.
Now COVID. They wrote a fucking essay on these two. And
yeah.
I think we should so let's play we'll play the Professor Wolff clip. Because what he has to say here is pretty profound. Or not
Shot chaser.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's good.
This is Richard Wolff from Democracy at Work.
So just because the Guardian cited him doesn't mean that he's wrong. Wolff is based. He knows what he's talking about.
Responding to another Ask Prof. Wolff question from our Patreon community. And this question comes from Carl. And Carl refers us to a recent appearance on a right-wing show, a talk show, on television or a podcast, in which a supporter of Donald Trump's MAGA movement, Make America Great Again, refers to something called MAGACommunism, and even identifies himself in the conversation as, matter-of-factly, oh yes, I am a communist. And what Carl wants to know is there some redefinition, some change going on in communism that might make it somehow a partner of right-wing, fascistic, or other right side of the aisle movements. So let me respond, and I'm going to do it historically so you can see the point I'm trying to make in that way. Throughout history, every time that socialism or communism have come back into the political arena, and I should mention to you all that they have been pronounced dead and gone and over with over and over again. I'm often reminded of the famous letter Mark Twain sent to the Hartford Courant newspaper in Connecticut, where he lived. After reading his own obituary in that day's paper, he wrote to the editor, "Reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated." The reports of the death of socialism and communism have been exaggerated by people who wished they had disappeared, wished they were gone from the historical agenda, but it has never been the case, and it isn't that now either. So what's going on? Answer is, if you're a political movement and you want to get supporters at a time when socialism is attracting more and more interest, well, you might be tempted to grab hold at least of the name. And I'm going to give you some examples of how that has happened. Probably the most important example is the one of Adolf Hitler in Germany. Hitler tried to build a movement in the 1920s in Germany. But the problem for Hitler was, during the 1920s, what happened to Germany was a major reaction to having lost World War I, which traumatized the German people. Likewise, traumatizing them was the worst inflation any modern capitalist economy has ever seen up until that point. 1923, the value of the German Deutschmark collapsed basically to next to nothing. And the 50 years of scrupulously accumulated savings by the German working class, a very frugal, savings-oriented working class, all of that was reduced to nothing. All that money they had squirreled away in an account couldn't buy you a quarter pound of butter. And these two events traumatized them. And then came the Great Depression of 1929, and it took them over the hill. But through the whole 20s, what was alive and creative in Germany was socialism. It was what replaced the defeated, discredited German aristocracy. Kaiser Wilhelm, the emperor of Germany, until the defeat of that country in World War I. So the socialists were everywhere. Music, art, culture, politics, they go socialism, socialism. And Mr. Hitler made the decision that to build up his movement, even though it was the opposite of socialism. Hitler hated the Soviet Union, which is where socialism had won the governmental power in 1917. He hated the left. He hated socialism, had fought against it, had been involved in violent efforts against it. But he knew that to build a movement, he had to somehow tap into it. So he chose as the name for his political party the National Socialist German Workers' Party. That was the full name of his party, because the first word, nationalist, in German is National, and the first four letters are N-A-Z-I. That's why it's called the Nazi Party.
This is ultimately the problem when you talk, because ultimately when you, like, what he's saying here is, so MAGA in and of itself is more so, I think the correlation here is kind of like a nationalist type movement, like a sort of like pro-America kind of concept. And that's how like these right wing like ideologues pop up, is through this like severe like isolationist kind of. I mean, it's not like I didn't necessarily disagree with a lot of that.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is one of the core tenets of fascism, okay? They always present a great enemy that they need to defeat, and it's always, always, always at times when a civilization is desperate as fuck for, like, any kind of alternative whatsoever. And then someone comes in, they correctly point out the problems, like Trump did. He did do that. He pointed out the deep state's a problem. Pointed out all the corruption in the Senate's a problem.
Oh, he
Pointed
just
out
says it out in the open. He just says shit like we're just like in the intro. It's like we're in Syria for the oil. We're in Syria for the oil. That's what it's.
Yeah. Like he points out the problems correctly, and then he paints himself as a savior, and everybody latches onto him. And all the MAGA people out there, I just got to ask you, what the fuck did he do? He had 4 whole fucking years. What did he do? He didn't do shit. He broke Obama's record for drone strikes. That's what he did. The biggest cope MAGA people have is he didn't start any new wars. It's like what do you mean didn't start any new wars? How low is your fucking bar?
In general.
He expanded the swamp.
About that.
He expanded the swamp. Okay. He did huge favors for his pals on Wall Street.
Operation Warp Speed, the vax.
Yep. So all you MAGA people, I don't get what you're doing there. He's still proud of that shit. He's still proud of the reason. Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah. He made a post on Truth Social about something about being, about the vaccine, being, taking credit for like, oh, my vaccine.
Yeah, I don't get why like
he loves
how can none of them spot the contradictions here? How do you reconcile that? Like, he didn't do shit for 4 years, and everybody's like, oh no, give him 4 more years, and he'll make it all right. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, y'all sound like liberals. You guys just sound like liberals.
I just
back to your earlier point.
This is at the Libertarian Convention. This is a libertarian who believes that MAGA is socialism, and he's against it. So if we do MAGA communism, the libertarians are fundamentally against that. You lose all the anti-war libertarians when you do this.
Wait, you mean if we do MAGA communism, we're going to piss off libertarians? Shit.
Yeah, look.
Okay, we got to do MAGA communism. I'm sorry, man.
If you don't vote for Trump, you're voting for Biden.
No, I want New Hampshire just to secede from the United States. New Hampshire needs to secede from the United States.
These guys are Biden supporters. Democrats.
Libertarian
Democrats.
It's just so clear how dumb we support libertarian candidates. That's why we're here.
That guy looks like a combination between Rasputin and Vladimir Lenin. Weird.
Yeah, like what is going on there? I guess these are this is libertarians, man. I don't know. I think they just like sit and smell.
This is like the weirdest reverse Uno. They're just like, yeah, MAGA's communism and it's a bad thing. Ah, like what the fuck? The dude's talking about deporting socialists from the country. He's talking about like making up a new law. Fuck. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, dude, let's finish this Professor Wolf video.
But the fact that Mr. Hitler took the name socialist fooled very few people in Germany. It didn't make much difference. And the very people he began working with who were interested in socialism were ejected from the Nazi Party, often with violence, in the years later on in the 1920s. So don't be fooled by MAGA communism. Yes, it's a clever putting together of things that don't fit. It will get you some attention for a while, but there's nothing in Mr. Trump or the MAGA movement that is anything other than fundamentally hostile to almost everything that socialism has meant or could mean. If discussions like this clarify issues for you, and we hope they do, and that's why we make them, then please partner with us.
That's the mic drop. But
yeah, and this is just kind of that's a chaser right here.
I will order my government to deny entry to all communists and all Marxists. Today, I'm announcing a new plan to protect the integrity of our immigration system. Federal law prohibits the entry of communists and totalitarians into the United States.
What are we doing?
But my question is, what do we do with the ones that are already here that grew up? I think we have to pass a new law for them. So we're going to keep foreign Christian-hating communists.
Suddenly, communists are Christian-hating. I know so many Christian communists.
I mean, okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. They just get that from that one quote from Marx. You know which one. Religion is the opiate of the masses. That one. They don't understand the context of that quote. Insofar as Marx was discussing correctly that people turn to religion because of the alienation and ills of living under the capitalist system. He was saying, here's why religion is appealing to people. He wasn't like, oh, I hate religion, meh, meh, meh. But they just see opiate in the masses and they're like, oh, he's atheist. Yeah.
Marxists and socialists out of America. We're keeping them out of America.
So I good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, like, I'll be the first one to say, this is a good idea on paper. Like I said before, you should be reaching out and meeting people where they are, because I'm sorry, there's a lot of fucking purity testers out there on the internet, and I just gotta say, like, you are exactly the people that Lenin was bitching about in that pamphlet. These weird purity testers who only want to, like, organize with their 3 other, like, super fucking Marxist, Maoist, bro, you're never going to get anything done. And I think you know that. That's why I think so much of the online left is an op, because, like, this is a wrecker tactic. So I get it. I get meeting people where they are, and I've done it myself. I do it all the time. I do it at bars, for fuck's sake. So I get the point that you're going after the working class base that you think you can galvanize. But the biggest contradiction is you're coming to them with communism, and the dude that they're following and going to vote for is saying rhetoric like this. That's what I don't get. It's like, how do you reconcile those two things? Because you're essentially asking them to go against their fucking dear leader here. So, like, how do you get people on board? What do? Do you say Trump's wrong? Do you say that, like, oh, he's memeing? He said JK after this interview? I don't get what I don't get what they're trying to do. Like, I just don't understand how you navigate this massive contradiction of, like, this whole base of people is being told by him that these people are bad, and you're coming to try and get them on your side, even though you're identified as one of the people he's saying are bad. And also, on the other side of the aisle, you're going to trigger every single liberal automatically. Not like it matters, obviously, because like liberals will always side with fascists against revolutionaries. Always. They will always side with the status quo. So these are useless allies anyway. But you're going to trigger all the liberals because the second you say MAGA, the TDS is going to get activated. They're going to start frothing at the mouth and like crying. They're going to fill their adult like Starbucks diapers and shit. So like you're going to put everybody off with this. Like I just don't understand how you can reconcile these two things together. And furthermore, I think this is a huge missed opportunity because if you just called your movement like the workers' movement or like the people first movement, anything that just focuses on the working class first and not these like goofy pro wrestling like partisan like camps, or even maybe focused on the massive like non-voter population that we have, these people who I've talked to, a lot of them have given up on politics because they produce no material results for them. You know, like fuck, it's just like it's a 24-year-old idea. I'll leave it at that.
I think I really think it's a little bit enlightening. This was like originally all the way a year ago. It was a fucking year ago. But Pasta came at this in like a very intellectual and honest way, and he's seen on the ground a lot. Certainly a lot more than me. So like I trust his experience. I don't trust Jackson's. Last time I saw Jackson out in public, he was like hitting on girls in the White House Capitol before getting arrested.
Yeah, because he's 24. Like that's what a 24-year-old's supposed to do.
Yes.
But you're not supposed to be leading a fucking movement, my guy. Get some life. You know what? I've said this before, but you know who Jackson Hinkle's biggest critic is going to be? Jackson Hinkle at age 30. I'm calling that.
Yeah. Unless you get...
He's going to look back and be like, holy fuck, I was cringe. Sorry.
I'm sure.
Damn. I did. I look back on 24-year-old me and I'm like, I want to punch him in the face. Do you have a time machine? I want to punch that guy. He sucks. Like... We all grow, we all evolve, but like, man, at 24, like, anyway, yeah, Pasta, I will go on record as saying that I firmly think Pasta is one of the best interviewers out there. He's on my top 5, easily. He never has a bias. He always comes at it just matter of fact, and he's not. He doesn't.
We should invite him on one day. Yeah,
I'm down. I am fucking down, my guy.
Pasta. Now, what are your feelings about MAGA communism?
Well, first off, I want to say that I don't think it's disingenuous. I just think it's completely wrong. You know, I go to a lot of election integrity events, and right now those are filled with MAGA people out there because they feel they were, done wrong in the last election. So that is why I get to speak with a lot of MAGA people. And it's just diametrically opposed to each other. When you go to these events and you hear a lot of MAGA people, 9 times out of 10, their number one enemy is communism. They'll say it all the time. Oh, Marxism, communism, that's the problem. Even more than China, even more than Bill Gates and our good buddy over there, Jeff Bezos, or any type of oligarch. This is the thing they fear most. And at the end of the day, they feel that Marxism, and I honestly feel that a lot of communists in the United States, people who call themselves communists, I believe they're mostly cappuccino communists, I call them that. I don't think they really understand what communism is like Jackson does and some of our friends who've probably read about theory and Engels and all these other people. But they feel that it's a complete opposite of what they're trying to achieve. They are capitalists through and through. They believe in choice, and they believe that Marxism and communism is the exact opposite. So when you are around MAGA people, you'll know right off the bat. You know, I kind of sent a friend a link today saying that I'm going to be on Jimmy Dore with my good friend Jackson Hinkle, and we're going to be talking about MAGA communism. And they were like, what the heck is that? You know, they've never heard about it before. So, number one, I don't think it exists at all. Number two, even though we are desperate for some type of unity with the working class, we need...
It's literally an online fringe thing. No one knows what fucking MAGA communism is.
It's only popular with all of us terminally online losers. I'm sorry. That's it. Just all of us terminally online idiots who are just like shit posting all day. We could write a novel about it, and then nobody would buy the novel because they're busy touching grass and they don't fucking get any of this shit.
And no one fucking cares. It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. I'm sorry. I can't be as polite as Pasta. This is just fucking stupid. What is this?
Nobody. What I appreciate is he gets it right off the bat. That's the same thing I said. It's like, yeah, I get it. We're all desperate for unity, like working class solidarity. Totally get it. Because we're divided as fuck. Nobody can organize over anything because they're fighting over these 8 million cultural things that, the corporate press is just pumping out at us, which I think is absolutely deliberate. They want us fighting all day over trans people. I'll say it. I'll say it right here. That's nothing benefits the bourgeoisie more than us fighting over trans stuff 24 hours a day forever until they all kill us. And they're going to kill us. They're going to kill us eventually, okay? Sorry, guys. They're going to fucking kill us. But at least one of us gets the last word over bathrooms before we get clipped in the head.
I'm sure a lot more people would benefit a lot more from universal health care rather than trans abortion bans and trans surgery bans. As much as I disagree with certain things or it doesn't affect anyone in any sort of broad way.
I mean, if we all get together and organize, maybe a lot of these trans people could get free gender-affirming care.
There's trans comrades. I mean, I don't judge it, especially if you're a full-ass adult. It's it's not my business. I don't give a shit.
No, it's just
the problem. I can see where that can kind of be a problem if it's under the age of 18. So that's where debate can be had. And I think that's healthy, but it shouldn't be the main discourse of a fucking collapsing society.
Yeah, and it's the thing that bugs me too. They're attaching. I fully believe this is not. They attach that issue to every single other issue. It's mind blowing.
The Palestine thing.
Palestine. We can't organize with anybody on Palestine unless they tick all of these boxes. And the most contentious box, the one they all flip out over, is the kids thing. And all of a sudden, you're a Hitler. You're a blah blah blah. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're just doing wrecker shit. Why does everybody just attach this issue to all the other issues? Just talk about the other issues. Holy fucking shit.
Can't focus on one thing at a time. Fucking ADHD society. That's where we're at.
If you had socialism, these people would get this shit for free. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but gender affirming care, because I've looked it up, because I care about these people, costs up to $100,000 in the States. Even up here in Canada, it's like $10,000. I want to fight. I want to organize so those people get it for free. Not go into endless forever debt just because they need something, a medical procedure, that is going to help them live their best life. I want to fight for that. But if we're always fighting over these fucking wedge issues, that shit is never going to happen. So, anyway.
You guys say it all the time. When you're building a coalition of working class people, you don't ask who's a communist, who's a Marxist, who's a capitalist, who's a Trump supporter, who's a Democrat, who's a Republican. Labels only separate us. It's when we remove the labels and come together on our common goals in the working class and our economic struggles, then we can bring it together. This, to me, is just something that can be used to weaponize and divide us even more. So even though we are desperate for some form of coalition, I just think this whole thing is just definitely non-existent, and it is a way of separating us even further.
So Jackson, what do you say to that?
I think those are some good points, but at the end of the day, I think that the MAGA communism hashtag or trend, whatever, is actually breaking down the labels further. It's so chaotic, it's so in your face that when people question it and they begin to discuss it, and I've done that today. I was on One America News Network. I never thought in my life I've ever be on a broadcast like that. And I was talking to the host, And we were actually able to break down, what it is that we all agree on. And he was like, wow, I think that we actually agree on a lot of the things that we're talking about here. And through these conversations and through highlighting the contradictions that don't align between left and a right in America, but between the top and the bottom, we're able to further come together and actually begin to address these issues. I think that you're 100% right that we need to focus on the issues, but the idea behind MAGA communism is focusing on the issues at hand, and it's not an effort to divide anybody or anything like that. And the whole idea is to unite Marxists with MAGA, and I think it's working quite well. It's starting a lot of really big conversations, and at least in the online community I've seen, a lot of MAGA people coming together with Marxists and saying, we actually agree on more than we disagree on. And maybe people didn't previously see this. So I think it's a beautiful thing.
So people conflate, I think, Marxism with the Russia-style communism, which wasn't really pure communism. It just became authoritarianism. So I think when you hear people say things like, like when you hear them say, oh, Trudeau is communist, right?
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
It breaks my fucking heart to see this man regurgitate McCarthyite fucking. Every time he talks about this shit, I have to turn it off. It's too heartbreaking.
I hate to play it again, but I need to hear that.
Which wasn't really pure communism. It just became authoritarianism. So I think with the Russia-style communism, which wasn't really pure communism, it just became authoritarianism. So I think when you hear people say things like, like when you hear them say, oh, Trudeau is communist, right?
Yes.
They don't mean he's communist. They mean he's an authoritarian, because we were brought up my whole life in the United States that communism equaled authoritarianism. And so I think people conflate authoritarianism with communism. And that's why people who call themselves or consider themselves conservative or right wing would have an allergic reaction to the term communism. And I don't think Marxism and communism are the same thing, right? I mean, Marxism wasn't. How do you define communism, Jackson?
They're the same thing. They're the same.
Hold on. No, I have to hear this. Because I've never heard this before.
And I don't think Marxism and communism are the same thing, right? I mean, Marxism wasn't. How do you define communism?
Yeah, so Jimmy's pretty uneducated, and I don't blame him. He's a stand-up comedian. Whatever. God bless him.
Communism, Jackson.
They're the same thing. I feel like in America, though, these terms have been bastardized in different ways. So, socialism means one thing to a lot of people. Communism might mean one thing to a lot of people, but they mean the same thing. If you actually read the text, they mean the same thing. But what I think that we need to focus on is how communism translates into the material reality of our country. We can take things, and I discussed this with the conservative on OAN today, we can take things like the pro-industrial mindset, pro-growth mindset from China and from the Soviet Union, while still recognizing that we have many cultural disagreements and disagreements based upon governance with these two models. Take the good things from the communists there, apply it to America while respecting the rich history of labor struggles and progressive history that we have in this country, and fighting for, more growth, more industrialization, more wealth for all. At the end of the day, that's what it is. It's we want people to have more wealth. We want to lift the masses from their knees.
Yeah, and I agree with that, but I do still think that when you do equate this whole MAGA and communism situation, you're actually just kind of separating that particular bond can be together, because the MAGA people are hardcore capitalists. And I also want to point out that I think that we can't leave out the fact, Jackson, and I think you'll agree to as well, is that a lot of people who call themselves communists in the United States, and most of the MAGA people, they kind of equate the Marxism with a campus Marxism, with this kind of like culture wars that was came along way after Marx was gone. And that is a very divisive tactic. So therefore, they can't get away from that. I do agree that we do need to have more discussions about what people want, because I don't think the communists in this country really are full-blown communists. I believe they are more about a labor movement, a working movement, and that's what they want. And that's what we need to focus on. Anytime we bring this in, this MAGA and communism, it's just something that's completely diametrically opposed.
So another thing I noticed, so this is before October 7th. So
Yep.
notice how everyone on the right that was pro, I guess like anti-Ukraine, seemingly like anti-war, and flipped on a dime like nothing.
Of course it did.
Israel,
Because
and most of them, if you consider yourself conservative, the majority of them are pro-Israel.
Of course they did, because that's how this shit works. One side criticizes the other side when they're doing a thing, and then they get into power and they do the exact same fucking thing. I've seen this my whole life. In my country, in the States.
It's a brainwashing, I think the flipping side is done on purpose, but I think that's obvious to everyone. But that's an important point, is that like a lot of these people, when they say what they mean, they're actually like they half the things they're talking about they don't actually mean.
Trump is anti-establishment, grinds my gears. I know, right? Like, this motherfucker has no tangible anything to be able to call himself anti-establishment, and people are still like, oh yeah, he's like, man, he's gonna stick it to him, he's gonna drain the swamp, he's gonna blah blah blah. Bro, he expanded the swamp. This dude isn't your guy. That's why I'm so confused about this, and I'm trying to figure it out. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, if one of these guys ever wants to come on and like correct the record, I'd be happy to do so, because I still don't get it. I don't get the fucking angle here.
It's really crazy.
Because it's like you're asking a base of people to accept a thing that their leader is saying is bad. That's the fundamental like wrench in the gears here.
That's like they're diametrically opposed. Like that's why it's so. It is retarded. It's just a brainless 24-year-old idea, like you said. Let's finish with pasta. He's
cooking.
He's
cooking.
You know, capitalists believe in choice. They believe that the Marxism takes away that choice, and they don't want to be cornered into that kind of ideology.
So how would you what? So you kind of agree. To me, it's just putting a label on what Christian Smalls did in Staten Island, right? It's finding common ground with people of different political persuasions, and then uniting around those ideas. But you think is it the label, Craig, called MAGA communism that's off-putting? Would you be if he just called it Workers Unite or something?
Oh my God! Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's what you guys should be doing.
Yes.
Drop the MAGA shit altogether and just be like, dude, here's the thing. You want to talk about common ground? You want to talk about uniting a lot of people? The overwhelming majority of human beings in any country ever is the proletariat. Just start with that shit. You can market it as like, oh, doesn't your job suck? Doesn't it suck not being able to pay the rent? You'll instantly relate to everybody across the political aisle. Instantly. Regardless of how much these poor brainwashed fools simp for capitalism, they don't like the fact that they have to eat Mr. Noodles for the final week before rent is due so they can make rent and not get kicked out. Okay? They can relate to that. Everybody can. Everybody can relate to, spending 8 hours of your day, 5 days a week for your entire life working to make some fucking asshole rich. How draining that is. How uninspiring your job is. Everybody can relate to that. Take this MAGA communism thing, throw that out the window, Just lean into the workers 200%. And that way, you're not limited. You can appeal to MAGA people because the majority of them are working class. You can appeal to Biden supporters, liberal supporters, Trudeau voters even, because the majority of them are working class. You can appeal to that giant base of motherfuckers that doesn't vote at all because they've given up on the system because they realized correctly that it threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. Thank you, Carlin. Because they're also working class. You can bring that massive base of people who never vote because they don't believe it's ever going to do anything for them. You can bring those people back by just leaning 200% into the worker thing. That's what they should be doing. Because the second you do MAGA, you're going to push away the shit libs and you're going to push away the MAGA people. You're going to get like just enough people to do absolutely fucking nothing. Like, I'm sorry. So, I don't know, man. I feel like, and I'm not saying like, you know, it's over, it's done. This is my advice to you guys. Jackson, Oz, think about like just pivoting this and leaning into the workers 200%. You're not dumb guys. You know, you're young. I was once too before I got these sweet grays in my beard.
Absolutely. And that's what we should do. That's what we've been fighting for. I just believe this is going to be something that can be weaponized to further divide us. It's the labels. Labels separate us. Our human needs bring us together. And that's what we need to stay concentrated on. And I also just feel that it doesn't exist. For most MAGA people, they're like, what are you talking about? However, I do believe that a discussion needs to be had about the things that we need. And I think that when people do call themselves a communist in the United States, they are more kind of like all about the labor movement and labor rights. That's what it's all about. And that's what we need to concentrate on, because if you just talk about labor and you keep the Marxism out of it and you keep the MAGA out of it, that's when we come together. As soon as you put those labels there, it separates us.
Yeah, Jackson, why are you separating us? With your
I think the biggest thing we need
didn't watch this beforehand. Holy shit. Okay, this is going really weird because I give a spicy hot take and then they just have that take. Fuck. God damn it.
Come together on, and what MAGA and communists probably align on most, is overcoming the deep state and the globalists. And globalism is unique right now. I mean, we're seeing that unfold in Europe. The globalists and the capitalists are fighting against each other. And we need to overcome.
What the fuck does that mean?
What do you mean the capitalists? Yeah, they are the capitalists. Okay, if you're talking about globalism, okay, what does that entail? Does it entail Klaus Schwab? Because the World Economic Forum is the largest consolidation of bourgeois power ever. I've said this a million times. Go to the World Economic Forum website. Go to the partners section. It is every fucking corporation on earth. Okay? This is what do you think Davos is? Okay? It's just
it's a cult of personality. That's all it is.
It's just the capitalists, bro. That's the globalists. It's just capitalism. This is the end result. For someone who claims to be a Marxist, this was predicted by him 200 years ago. It's just capitalist.
Someone who
That's
claims
it.
to be a Marxist, yeah, that's a pretty stupid you know.
It's a 24-year-old take. It's
is
24-year-old
unique right
take.
now. I mean, we're seeing that unfold in Europe. The globalists and the capitalists are fighting against each other. And we need to overcome the globalists. And I think that what you see them doing with the energy markets, with big agriculture, with big pharma, with big tech, are all things that we have common ground with MAGA on. And I think that rather than avoiding the difficult question of what Marxism and communism is, we should actually, lean into it and unite on those common principles that we have. Despite different worldviews, we arrive at the same exact location.
Hold on. Okay, sorry. Over the difficult question of what Marxism and communism is, collective ownership over the means of production. Done. It's not difficult. It's so fucking simple that when I explain it to average everyday people, they are blown away at how simple the concept is. Okay, yes, reading Capital is hard. It's hard as fuck. You got to do math. Carl ambushes you with math halfway through. It's like a boss fight in reading that book. Okay, but this shit isn't hard. Okay, it's not the concept of the working class having agency and democracy over their labor is not a hard concept. Okay? Just explain it like, okay, you hate fascism, you hate authoritarianism, right? Do you like the fact that you show up to a job that you depend on to survive and you have absolutely no voice, you have no say in any of it, they're profiting off your labor, they're making money off you, and they're paying you just enough to get by? You know, doesn't that kind of feel like a dictatorship? Kind of feel like something like feudalism, doesn't it? Like,
Just that.
it's very easy to explain all of this shit. I don't know why you're saying it's hard. It's not hard. You can, okay.
All right.
You just Google it.
I don't know. That the term is a little rough. That's all. It is a rough
It's a
term. You know
little
that,
rough.
right? It's oof, it hits you a couple different ways.
Even Jimmy's not buying it, dude. Even
No.
Jimmy doesn't fucking buy this shit.
Jimmy's the king. Jimmy's the king of unite along class lines, and even he's like, "Ooh, I don't. That's
why
it's
it's
a bit too
trending
much
on Twitter
pepper
right
in
now.
the soup, my guy."
Okay, so the one role that I will say that Jimmy Dore plays well, that I think is good, is that he makes it okay to speak about certain topics. So like,
Yes.
he made it okay for people on the left to talk about COVID. He made it okay for people on the left to start talking about, or at least like people on the right to be more sympathetic towards Palestine. He is a very right.
Oh, I know, dude. I'm surprised. Some of these like prominent, like somewhat, some of these like more prominent conservative type, they're like 200% like, fuck you. Nope. We got to do something about this. This is a genocide. You guys are fucking. I didn't expect Jake Shields to turn like that, but now he's like 200% like, no. Fuck this. Fuck Israel. This is bullshit. This is insane. These people are dying. Like, this is damn. This is the biggest bingo card of them all, if you will.
Yeah. So I think Jimmy makes it like the Jimmy's purpose is to make things okay to talk about on like, you know, along class lines, basically.
Yeah. It makes it okay for
Is it
everybody to talk, not just a like clique of people who
Which I
declare
don't
they're
know
the
why-
authority.
I don't know why that. I don't know why it is. It is that way, but
Trending?
Been trending for the past week.
Yeah. But some of the comments are very, very negative. They're like, "What are you talking about?" When and I'm not saying overall, and once again, bringing
Overall, it's positive.
I've seen some. Well, first of all, a lot of put it on
Massive
Getter,
cope.
and let's see if you get the same response that you do on Twitter. And we'll see. Most of the MAGA people are hanging out on Getter. They've already left Twitter, so you know, we'll see.
Okay, so there it is. There's we still have, so that's our definition of MAGA communism. I still don't know what communism is. They say it's Marxism, but I don't think so.
Oh
can't believe you said that.
I think Marx was just didn't. I mean, again, I've read very little, but
You haven't read Lenin, Jimmy? Come on.
but correct. So you guys probably have read Lenin. So it didn't Marx.
My boy,
All he did was really give a critique of capitalism. He didn't really lay out a
She
new
does
economic
not wanna
system.
fuck around.
He just kind of critiqued capitalism, so people understood what the F capitalism was. Right? Am I wrong?
As well as how we should view the world through the scientific lens of dialectic.
My boy Pasta brought out the Lenin. He straight up just asked Jimmy. He's like, "Yo, my boy, you never read Lenin?"
Dude, did Pasta just theory bro him?
I think
He got theory broed by Pasta. Oh
That's
shit.
crazy. No wonder he's not a host anymore.
Bingo card as well, getting theory broed by Pasta. It's like, what, you never read What Is to Be Done? Oh my god, what a savage. That's so good.
Materialism. And I think that beyond anything else has taught us that if we have these common goals, then we should be uniting together on the common goals as a working class rather than fictitious party lines.
Okay, I just somehow you're going to get me in trouble, Jackson. I don't know how, but somehow you're going to wreck everything.
Wait, hold on.
I just feel it.
Hold on.
Okay.
Are you running for president yet?
Trouble, Jack.
Hold on. This comment here from Sean wins out of all of the comments right here. Kevin Smith for the win. Kevin Smith for the win always. I caught that.
Where do you see that?
The last comment. That's from Jan Saul and Bob Strike Back. And it's a reference to Mallrats. Yeah, I got you. I got you. Remember? Hey, you want a chocolate covered pretzel?
They have the
stink palm, baby.
They have the Weezer song Suzanne in there.
Oh yeah.
That's where they first played it. Or like, dude, that was a great movie. But yeah, it's a New Jersey guy.
Yep.
New Jersey guy from Red Bank.
Yeah, that was good shit.
It's so tense.
That's one way I might get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Pressuring you to run for president.
I wish you were old enough because I would rather support you than me, but they're so vulnerable right now.
Why is this guy
old enough?
Why is this guy
Meaning the establishment, the Republicans and the Democrats, for a candidate like me. And people are already getting ready to funnel progressive energy back into the Democratic Party. Like, oh, Nina Turner's going to run for president, or Marianne Williamson's going to run inside the Democratic Party. How the fuck did that work out for Bernie Sanders the last 2 times? It doesn't work out. You become a cuck to the establishment, and then you start doing evil all over the place, which is what they're doing. The squad and Bernie have been supporting fucking evil since Joe Biden got elected. And before that, when they supported the goddamn CARES Act. And nobody even still knows what happened with the CARES Act. And anyway, so, all right. Anything else you'd like to say about MAGA communism before we change subjects?
Oh, I'd like to say that, if you really are serious thinking about running for president, the Libertarian Party is really a party we need to be looking at.
Okay. Yeah, they
Pasta, you just lost all of your points that you built up here. He built up 5 combo points. He was ready for the eviscerate, and then he fucking
He just fucking.
He just Hearthstoned. What the fuck, my guy? Yeah, let's do the Lulbert. Bro, like, come on.
That was.
Hey, you know what would be really good with MAGA communism? If you just, like, dropped all that and just campaigned on lowering the age of consent to -2. Fuck. God damn it. Anyway, yeah, that's MAGA communism, I guess. I still don't get it.
The Boeing story is like really not that impressive. I mean, I could do it pretty short, but we've had a series of problems. We've seen multiple airplane crashes.
Multiple.
It's been, and I'm sure somewhere on this channel it was covered, but basically, John Barnett, he spoke. I mean, there was even an undercover Al Jazeera investigation in 2014 that said like 10 out of the 15, so 2/3 of their own employees wouldn't fly any of these planes. That's how actually dangerous they are, and they just like go along with it. So now, instead of flying in the air, they're going to space.
Oh, good. Because, like, the air thing's going out super well. Let's take it all the way up to space where nobody can hear you scream. Or maybe that's the point. They're tired of people screaming, so they want to take it up somewhere where, like, they can...
Yeah, no.
Oh, no.
So now, this is just an incredible story. They're gonna put astronauts in space with a helium leak. They know there's tons of
Despite spacecraft helium leak. What the fuck? No.
Yes, this is an
Absolutely not.
God damn it.
Become an insider. Why aren't you an insider, Greg? What is this?
I'm not a business insider. Okay, I'm not that kind of insider. But these are just
I'm
like
shocked.
the stories that are, Boeing prepared to fly crewed space taxi with a helium leak.
Crewed space taxi with a helium
NASA
leak.
approved it. NASA approved this shit.
Is NASA even real?
I don't know. Who knows if any of this is real?
Okay, one sec. I am literally burning up. I'll BRB.
Here's a good summary. And I'll just play this.
Boeing is
sorry. I had to crank the air conditioning.
Space machine engine.
Whoa.
This project has been in time since 2010 and it's still not ready for flight. There's a helium leak on the Starliner spacecraft that's not going to be fixed before launch. It's that complicated. The spacecraft would need to be taken apart at the factory. The first human delivery to the ISS was planned on May 6th, but was delayed due to the glitch. The Boeing company faces critical problems with its production. Over the past year, several of its aircraft were damaged, including losing a door to flight. Then Boeing failed 33 of 89 inspections by the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration. It was revealed that assemblers used plastic cards to test door seals and liquid soap as lubricant. The ex-employee John Burnett said that in order to meet deadlines,
dude, that's crazy.
They even installed.
Is this the famous innovation of capitalism that we're told about?
I think so. This sounds like
this must be capitalism. Yeah, this must be capitalism's innovation.
Sniffs and all reads like late-stage capitalism.
Self-inflicted injuries. Despite all technical and PR problems, Boeing is going to send people into space on a broken spacecraft without fixing the problem.
Okay.
10 of 15 Boeing aircraft engineers said they won't fly on planes that they designed themselves. What about astronauts?
I don't know.
I kind of miss the whole like let's why don't we just keep the momentum of the whole like let's have billionaires go like in submarines to the Titanic. I feel like that was like a good like thing we can focus on. I'm not so much on board with Boeing killing more people, but in space, so their corpses will forever orbit the Earth.
Forever crashing aircraft, now in space.
Yeah, like who's signing up for this? Is it just people who are like really struggling? They're like, hey, you want to come here? Fuck yeah, I want to die. I hate this place. Let's go. Like, who is this for?
This is
who the fuck is this for?
It's just some incredible narcissism on behalf of the elite capitalists. Just complete space is expensive. It's much more expensive than aircraft.
Wait, maybe this is done by revolutionaries then from within. Because what if they're going to send all the capitalists up there and then oopsie?
We can ship them off to the sea, or like near the Titanic.
Yeah, it crashes literally into the ocean and sinks to the Titanic. It becomes like
get the orcas involved. Let's see.
Just rename the site of the Titanic to Billionaire's Rest. That'd be a better name for it, I feel.
So here is we'll just go on the last story here. Everyone's favorite Nazi.
Literally, we're not exaggerating. Actually,
literally Nazi. Shady dealings with Russian firm amid EU sanctions. So suddenly, now von der Leyen's here is able to circumvent the EU's own sanctions with a Russian steel company just because you can, I guess. This is pure corruption is when the hypocrisy is so blatant that you just can't deny it.
Like the Nancy Pelosi insider trading shit where you're just like, wait, so that's just happening and nothing's being done about it, and she's just kind of like smiling and laughing and drunk all over the place?
Yeah, these people are on like Xanax or something. It's like, so German journalists have recently unveiled a corruption scandal involving the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. According to the investigation, von der Leyen allegedly used her influence to help Russian company Krasnil Akbar, I can't pronounce that, evade the sanctions imposed by the European Union after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The scandal comes less than 2 weeks before the European Parliament elections, casting a shadow over the most prominent members of the European Parliament. Ursula von der Leyen's career has been marred by numerous scandals, such as the White Shirt scandal and Pfizergate, of course. And this new report, this is a German journalist. We'll watch that in a second. Basically, in the spring of 2022, the first few months of the Russian invasion, EU adopted sanctions on Russia. The fourth package of sanctions was to ban steel imports. And so, according to an interview with the director of the plant, we will deliver European orders production up until the beginning of May 2022. We were entitled to supply the EU until May. However, in 2023, they became a participant in the 13th International Mining and Metallurgy Congress in Astana, Kazakhstan, and another participant of the Congress was a steel giant ArcelorMittal, which, among other things, is the largest metal supplier in the automotive industry in Europe. The third link of the chain was Marko Šević, Executive Vice President of the European Commission, a colleague of Ursula von der Leyen. According to the official data, the goal of the visit was to deepen relations between EU and Kazakhstan. However, according to Congress insiders, Šević was personally sent to Congress by Ursula to monitor the measures to circumvent sanctions so that the company could continue supplying its steel to Europe. At the behest of von der Leyen, he helped the company to agree on schemes to circumvent the sanctions, and the Russian company's products began to enter the European market once again. Journalists are wondering why Ursula von der Leyen is dealing with this matter and what benefit she is getting from it. Russian steel accounted for 20% of the EU market in 2020. After the start of the Russian-Ukraine conflict, Chinese companies tried to replace Russian companies, but they have encountered resistance from European lawmakers. So let's watch this video.
Mitgliederin der Partei Bündnis 90 Die Grünen und wir haben heute ein heißes Thema. Ich mache aber erstmal eine kleine Präambel. Darf ich vorstellen, Ursula von der Leyen, Präsidentin der Europäischen Kommission, die steile Karriere der ersten Frau in der Geschichte, die dieses Amt innehatte, wurde jedoch durch eine Reihe von Skandalen getrübt. Der größte davon ist der Bundeswehrskandal, in den Ursula verwickelt wurde, als sie Verteidigungsministerin Deutschlands war. Der Bundestag führte eine Anhörung zu dem Skandal durch, bei der unter anderem der Vorwurf erhoben wurde, dass von der Leyens Büro bei der Vergabe von Aufträgen im Wert von Millionen Euro an Firmen die Vorschriften über das öffentliche Beschaffungswesen umgingen. Im April 2021 brachte die New York Times die Pfizergate-Geschichte, die enthüllte, dass von der Leyen während der Pandemie einen Vertrag über 1,8 Milliarden Covid-19-Impfstoffdosen mit Pfizer-Chef Albert Bourla schriftlich per Mobiltelefon ausgehandelt hatte. Neben zahlreichen Skandalen ist unsere Heldin auch für ihre Vorliebe für teuren Schmuck und Hollywood-Prominenz bekannt. Nach diesen Fotos und den zahlreichen Skandalen zu urteilen, scheint Ursula nicht daran gewöhnt zu sein, von einem Gehalt zu leben. Vielleicht eben wegen ihrer Geldgier wurde sie zur Teilnehmerin an dieser Geschichte, die sich gerade vor unseren Augen abspielt. Hört zu, das ist Krasny Oktyaber, der größte Hersteller von rostfreiem Stahl in Russland. Das Unternehmen stellt 40% aller Walzprodukte aus rostfreiem Stahl in Russland her und liefert Metall, Achtung, an die Automobil-, Luftfahrt-, Chemie- und Atomindustrie. Aufgrund des russischen Einmarsches in der Ukraine im Februar 2022 hat die EU zahlreiche Sanktionspakete verabschiedet, darunter ein Verbot von Stahlimporten. Im Rahmen des 4. Sanktionspaketes Verordnung 2022-428 des Rates ist die direkte und indirekte Einfuhr von in Russland hergestellten und aus Russland ausgeführten Stahlerzeugnissen
The receipts, it's all right there.
in die EU verboten. Es ist verboten, in Russland hergestellte Stahlerzeugnisse zu transportieren, sowie jegliche finanzielle oder technische Unterstützung sowie Brokerdienstleistungen im Zusammenhang mit den oben genannten Verboten zu erbringen. Kurioserweise sagte die Präsidentin der Europäischen Kommission Ursula von der Leyen am Vorabend der Verhandlungen über dieses Sanktionspaket, Zitat: Dies wird einen zentralen Sektor des russischen Systems treffen, dem Land Milliarden an Exporteinnahmen entziehen und sicherstellen, dass unsere Bürger nicht Putins Kriegs subventionieren. Die europäischen Sanktionen haben wirklich ins Schwarze getroffen.
Oh yeah, they've really hit the mark.
2022 wurde ein Interview mit dem Betriebsleiter von Krasny Oktyaber veröffentlicht, der sagte, Zitat: Einigen Vertretern der EU-Länder zufolge wird die russische Industrie ohne die enge Partnerschaft mit dem Westen nicht überleben können und der Markt für metallurgische Produkte wird den neuen Realitäten nicht standhalten. Und europäische Aufträge werden bis Anfang Mai ausgeliefert. Bis Mitte Juni sind wir berechtigt, die EU zu beliefern und werden dies auch tun. Es sieht so aus, als ob die Geschichte glücklich endet. Russische Stahlindustrie fällt unter europäische Sanktionen. Ihre Gewinne können nicht mehr zur Finanzierung von Putins Krieg verwendet werden. Aber es ist nicht alles rosig. Versetzen wir uns in das Jahr 2023 nach Astana, der Hauptstadt von Kasachstan. Am 1. und 2. Juni fand hier der 13. Internationale Bergbau- und Metallurgie-Kongress statt. Und einer der Teilnehmer war der Betrieb Krasny Oktyaber. Ein weiterer Teilnehmer des Kongresses war das Unternehmen ArcelorMittal, ein multinationaler Stahlkonzern mit Hauptsitz in Luxemburg. Das Unternehmen ist ein wichtiger Partner für die europäische Automobilindustrie.
For those who just tuned in, this is actually a beginner's course to learning German. So thanks, tune in, you'll learn some stuff.
Take your lesson.
Unternehmen gesellt sich ein dritter.
I'm just not going to read it. I mean, I could have translated this. There's AI for that.
Erwarteter Teilnehmer, Maros Šefčovič, Exekutivvizepräsident der Europäischen Kommission für den Europäischen Green Deal. Nach offiziellen Angaben war es das Ziel seines Besuchs, die Beziehungen zwischen der EU und Kasachstan zu vertiefen. Aber nach Angaben von Insidern des Kongresses sei Šefčovič von Ursula persönlich in den Kongress geschickt worden, um die Maßnahmen zur Umgehung der Sanktionen für den Betrieb Krasny Oktyaber zu überwachen. Die Verhandlungen waren erfolgreich und die Produkte des russischen Unternehmens gelangten über den Zwischenhändler ArcelorMittal auf den europäischen Markt, wobei die Sanktionen dank Ursula von der Leyen umgangen wurden. Ich frage mich, was sie für diese Verhandlungen bekommen hat. Zu ihrer Information. 2019 produzierte Russland 20% des gesamten in die EU importierten Stahls. Nach Angaben von Europa wurden im Jahr 2020 14% der Flacherzeugnisse, die hauptsächlich im Automobilsektor verwendet werden, auch aus Russland eingeführt. Nachdem russischer Stahl sozusagen blockiert wurde, wurde diese Nische frei und chinesische Unternehmen versuchten, sie zu besetzen, was jedoch nicht gelang. Die EU begann zu drohen, Zölle auf chinesischen Stahl anzuheben. Und im Mai 2024 erklärte Ursula, dass die europäischen Märkte mit billigeren chinesischen Elektroautos und Stahl überschwemmt werden und forderte China auf, die Überproduktion zu stoppen.
As we have shown, we will defend our companies, we will defend our economies, we will never hesitate to do so if this is required. Chinese subsidized products, these subsidized products such as the electric vehicles or, for example, steel, are flooding the European market. At the same time, China continues to massively support its manufacturing sector, and this combined with a domestic demand that is not increasing, the world cannot absorb China's surplus production.
Unterdessen hat das russische Unternehmen, dem Ursula geholfen hat, die Sanktionen.
The world cannot absorb China's surplus production. Bro, they're fucking coping. They're coping so hard right now.
Yeah.
This is, okay.
No, dude, this is why I'm glad that, like, I'm not up in these, like, upper class circles. They must be miserable right now. They're probably all shitting their pants.
They're losing their fucking minds because they're like, bro, we're getting rolled. China's they're rolling all of us, bro. We can't deal with this.
It's not just
like
that narrative, like, on things, like, I mean, I guess it's kind of always been that way, but
you know what it is? You know what all of these Western countries are doing right now with regards to China? You remember, like, if y'all have ever played, like, a PvP, like, player versus player game, like Counter-Strike, or, like, Halo, or, like, any of the, like, CIA propaganda games, like, the shooters or whatever, they're acting like that one person who blames every death on lag. They're like, oh, I would have killed you, but it was lag. That's what they're doing right now here. They're blaming the L, because they just need to take the L. That's it. But they can't hold the L. They're blaming it on lag. Straight up.
Die Produktion weiter hoch. Es scheint eine für beide Seiten vorteilhafte Zusammenarbeit zu sein, sowohl für das Unternehmen als auch für Frau von der Leyen. Die Dinge liefen so gut, dass der Betrieb begann, die Produktion zu erweitern. Im Mai 2024 nahm das Unternehmen eine neue Härteanlage in Betrieb. Auf den ersten Blick könnten Sie vielleicht glauben, als ob Ursula sich um die europäische Industrie kümmert. Aber in der Tat wird sie von einem viel niedrigeren Motiv angetrieben: der Gier nach Geld. Skandale mit Bundeswehr und Pfizer bestätigen erneut, dass Ursula von der Leyen eine zutiefst korrupte Politikerin ist. Sie legt nur Lippenbekenntnisse ab, wenn sie sagt, dass sie Russland zertrampeln und isolieren will. Aber wenn sich eine Gelegenheit bietet, Geld zu verdienen, ist sie bereit.
Oh, no.
That basically puts it together. This summarizes the whole thing that we just read.
And I know it's heartbreaking. Because, like, a lot of us grew up thinking, like, these European countries were, like, the future. But look, at the end of the day, they're still capitalist countries, and they're still rife with corruption. They just have better social safety nets. But the only reason these European countries, especially Scandinavia, by the way, have those social safety nets were because of those evil people to the east. That's the sole reason they have them. Look that up. That is canon to the Earth Wiki. But yeah, it's all the
sich
same
auch für
shit.
das russische Unternehmen zu engagieren, dessen Geld den Krieg in der Ukraine finanziert. Meine Damen und Herren, das war eine Geschichte über Ursula, Geld stinkt nicht, von der Leyen.
That's perfect. Oh, what a great sound effect timing. Props to the editing. I'm not gonna lie. Props to that editing. That was mwah.
Yeah, no.
Magnifica, as the French say.
I enjoyed the little cash sound effects that they put in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Another deeply corrupt politician, scandalous shit is going on over in the EU. That's where you go. That's pretty much all I had for tonight. I did want to show you one thing.
Yeah.
This is just insane. This is going viral, but this is a crazy ass story. This guy is like, so get this. Man who is suspended.
Oh, yes.
Man who has a driving license while suspended enters a Zoom courtroom call driving with his license suspended.
This man is a hero. This is the heart of MAGA communism, everybody.
This is MAGA communism.
This is MAGA communism.
Driving. Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office. Actually, so just give me 1 second.
Who does this?
This is so good.
Do this? Like I don't enter Zoom courtroom calls very often. I mean, maybe like, but usually I'm home when I do that.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been work from home for almost a decade now, and I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people are driving when they do the Zoom meeting thing. It's a thing. It is.
Well, yeah, I get it for like little menial things, but like for court,
like picking.
If you're being tried for something, wouldn't you want to look as best as possible?
I mean,
I never cared in the first place.
Given the charge, I feel like this guy just no fucks given across the board. Or he didn't get the memo. Maybe he doesn't know what he's getting charged with. I don't know. I don't know why else you would do this.
What the fuck is going on? Corey Harris. We got to find out who this guy is. Corey Harris.
I'm adding him on Facebook right now. Hold on.
I'm adding him on Facebook.
You stationary? I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
All right. What are we doing?
Your Honor, we are respectfully requesting an adjournment in this matter, up possibly 2 to 4 weeks if the court would allow.
Okay. So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving. And
it's so good.
He didn't have a license.
Oh.
His reaction. Like light bulb just went off in his head. He's like, oh fuck. Oh, I wasn't supposed to do this.
And
watch this.
He didn't have a license.
Look at his face.
Just look. Okay, I'm gonna count this reaction on my hand. Okay.
Oh.
Is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
No, I'm looking at his record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
50. That's like this man is dumbfounded. It's crazy.
This is all
With
of
the
our
charges,
face.
Your Honor, yes.
This man's face
No,
is
I'm
all of
looking
our
at his
faces
record.
for
He doesn't have a
2024. This is the face of MAGA communism.
Suspended and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Oh.
Oh my god. Look at his face.
Hello?
Hello? I gotta show this to my wife. This is
One minute,
too
Mr.
good.
Harris.
I don't know. I'd probably quit my job
I
immediately
don't even know
if
why
I
he
were
would do
like.
that. So, defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Harris, I'll be giving you a call.
Okay.
Okay.
Some ridiculous shit, man.
Holy fuck.
2024, man. This is it.
This is like, I feel like this is like the year that Clown World like peaks. Like we've been building up to like the finale of Clown World, and I feel like this year is like, this is the finale. After this, we'll probably all be dead. I don't know. Fuck.
I'm ready. I'm ready for the singularity. I hope you guys are, because it's coming. I want to talk about AI one day.
We should do a show on AI.
Yeah.
And actually, like the implications, because here's the thing, right?
There's people who disagree with me. I mean, this is very, I don't know. I know.
Well, like Marx, I would love to discuss like Marxian principles within the context of AI, because like that's something that like nobody could have ever anticipated, right? But like, how does that relate? That'd be a really interesting discussion.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we could wrap it up here. We're almost at 2 hours, so it's a good stream.
Yeah, I had fun.
Good Thursday. Thanks everyone for checking us out.
You don't want to talk about MAGA communism more? We could do that. We could spend another hour talking about.
It's just it just boils down to like how bad Trump is. On despite how like much liberal outrage there is like actually, it's another deep state character.
It has to be.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope y'all had fun. I know I did, and
check out the new shows coming out on tomorrow. I know it's going to be Tara, and how do we miss that? On Sunday, we'll be back. We replaced them this past Sunday, but they will be back. And Snow Himbos, you will be streaming on Saturdays. So.
I will be streaming on Saturday, and I will be taking everybody back tonight. Back to a time where life was simpler. I will put it at that. I will not ruin the surprise for now. But yeah, be sure to check me out Saturday. It's going to be an extra long stream. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be driving without a license. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Thanks so much, everybody.
All right.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.